Attila the Hun, born around 406 CE, was a fearsome chieftain of the Huns, who terrorized both the Eastern and Western Roman empires. He was known for his military prowess, his incredible brutality, and also for the vast empire that he forged through conquest. In today's video, we're going to explore 5 amazing facts about this legendary warrior and conqueror. Welcome back to History Dude BC. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that subscribe button. And without further ado, let's get started. Number 5. A ruthless conqueror. Born in around 406 CE, possibly in what is now Hungary or southern Russia, Attila was a member of the Hunnic people, a Central Asian nomadic group known for their equestrian skills and fierce independence. As a young man, he rose to become the chieftain of the Huns, uniting various Hunnic tribes under his banner and forming a formidable military force. His reign of terror began with attacks on the Balkan provinces of the Eastern Roman Empire. These initial campaigns were likely motivated by a combination of factors, including securing resources, establishing dominance in the region, and possibly even revenge for previous Roman incursions into Hunnic lands. The Romans, caught off guard by the Huns' fierce cavalry charges and superior archery skills, found themselves hard-pressed to contain these raids. However, it was not just the Balkans that trembled before Attila. His ambitions were far grander. He led his army across the Danube into Greece, where he pillaged and conquered. He then turned his attention to the Western Roman Empire, launching devastating attacks on Gaul, where he sacked cities and extracted hefty ransoms. Rome itself was not spared from his wrath. Despite the vast distances involved, he successfully invaded Italy, reaching as far south as the North African coast. These campaigns were marked by incredible acts of brutality, with entire villages and even cities leveled and their inhabitants massacred or enslaved. It was during these campaigns that the epithet, the Scourge of God, was coined, a testament to the sheer terror he inspired throughout Europe. But what made Attila so successful as a conqueror? Was it simply his military skill, or did darker forces propel his conquests? Number 4. The Scourge of God. As Attila led his armies across Europe, leaving a trail of devastation in his wake, contemporary Christian writers began to view him almost as a divine instrument of punishment. Hence the moniker, the Scourge of God. This was not necessarily an acknowledgement of any divine favor towards the Huns, but rather a way to comprehend the sheer destructive power that Attila represented. These writers, often those chronicling the deeds of Roman generals who opposed him, portrayed Attila and his followers as instruments of divine retribution. For instance, Jordanes, a 6th century Gothic historian, wrote of the Huns that God raised them up as a scourge to punish the Romans for their sins. This grim perspective adds a layer of complexity to understanding Attila's legacy, while he undoubtedly played a significant role in shaping European history through his military campaigns and the resulting political shifts. The perception of him as a divine punishment invites us to consider the role of fortune, fate, and even providence in human affairs. This idea of a higher power using Attila as a tool for judgment reflects a common theme in ancient and medieval narratives, serving as a reminder of the theological context within which many historical events were understood. So, how did the Romans fare against this divinely ordained scourge? Was there anyone who could stand against the fury of the Huns? No. 3. Battle of the Catalaunian Plains. The Battle of the Catalaunian Plains in 451 CE stands as a pivotal moment in history, marking the first and only major defeat of Attila the Hun and his mighty army. The location of the battle, now known as the Champ de Mars near the modern-day French city of Troyes, was the site of a clash between two powerful forces, Attila's Huns and a coalition of Roman and Visigothic troops led by Aetius and Theodoric I, respectively. The lead-up to the battle was marked by years of devastating Hunnic raids across Europe. Attila's ambition knew no bounds, and he had set his sights on conquering the heartland of the Western Roman Empire. However, the Romans were prepared to resist. With a large and diverse army that drew its strength from various parts of the empire, the battle itself was a display of the military prowess of the time. The heavily armored Roman infantry, the Visigothic warriors with their unique battle formations, and the fierce cavalry charges of the Huns all contributed to the violence and chaos of the day. Yet, despite the size of his army, which has been estimated to have numbered in the hundreds of thousands, Attila suffered a decisive defeat. Accounts of the battle, often colored by the propaganda of the time, vary in their details. However, the outcome is clear. The Romans and their allies emerged victorious, forcing the Huns to retreat. The significance of this battle cannot be overstated. It was a major turning point in Attila's career and in the history of the Hunnic Empire. His subsequent campaigns, while still devastating, were more limited in scope, and the threat of a full-scale Hunnic takeover of the Western Roman Empire was averted. But what caused this defeat, and how did it impact Attila's legacy? Number 2. Mysterious death. The death of Attila the Hun in 453 CE remains shrouded in mystery and intrigue, adding another layer to the legend of this formidable warrior. According to the accounts of his contemporaries, Attila died on his wedding night, supposedly from a nosebleed. This unusual cause of death has fueled speculation and theories for centuries, with some historians questioning the veracity of the traditional narrative. The circumstances surrounding his demise, as recorded by sources like Priscus, a Roman ambassador to the Huns, paint a curious picture. Priscus's account tells of a wedding celebration in which Attila, newly married, retired for the night, only to be found dead in the morning, with blood around his mouth and a single tooth missing. While the exact cause of death is not specified, the fact that it occurred on his wedding night has led to much conjecture. Some historians have suggested that the nosebleed may have been a result of excessive drinking, or perhaps a reaction to some physical ailment. Others have speculated that poisoning may have been a factor. Theories aside, the suddenness and unusual nature of Attila's death have made it a focal point of interest for those seeking to understand the last days of this iconic ruler. What makes the mystery even more compelling is the lack of any substantial physical evidence, leaving ample room for different interpretations. The official narrative of a peaceful death in his sleep, while seemingly straightforward, contradicts the image of the ferocious warrior that Attila had cultivated during his lifetime. This discrepancy has led some to propose more dramatic scenarios, including the possibility of foul play. The lack of clarity surrounding his death has allowed various legends to flourish, each adding its own twist to the tale of the Hunnic king's demise. One such legend attributes his death to a curse, adding a supernatural element to the mix. Another theory suggests that Aetius, the Roman general who had previously clashed with Attila, may have had a hand in his demise. This intriguing notion ties in the long-standing animosity between the Romans and the Huns, painting a picture of a cunning Roman general taking out his greatest enemy, even if it meant resorting to underhanded tactics. Regardless of the true cause of death, whether a simple nosebleed on a wedding night or a more sinister event, the circumstances surrounding Attila's demise continue to captivate the interest of historians and the public alike. Number 1. A legacy of terror. Despite his relatively short reign, which ended abruptly with his death in 453 CE, Attila left an indelible mark on both the Roman Empire and European history as a whole. His legacy is one of terror, destruction, and military might. The impact of his campaigns, while devastating, had profound consequences. The widespread destruction wrought by the Huns forced the Roman authorities to invest heavily in their defenses, diverting resources that might have otherwise been allocated to other areas of governance. This constant pressure and the enormous sums of money paid to Attila for ransoms drained the imperial treasury and weakened the empire's overall stability. Moreover, the psychological impact of living under the threat of the Huns cannot be understated. The fear that gripped the populace during his invasions created an atmosphere of terror and uncertainty, deeply affecting the daily lives of people across the empire. Even after his death, this lingering fear kept the memory of the Hunnic threat alive for generations. The end of Attila's reign did not bring an immediate end to the Hunnic Empire. The empire continued under the rule of his successors, though their reign was marked by a decline in power and influence. Over time, the Hunnic Empire fragmented, and by the late 5th century, it ceased to exist as a cohesive political entity. However, the memory of the Huns, particularly under the leadership of Attila, endured. They became a symbol of savagery and military prowess, often used in later narratives to evoke a sense of dread and the threat of the unknown. Their reputation as fierce warriors and relentless conquerors solidified their place in history as one of the most feared and enigmatic peoples of their time. And there you have it, folks. 5 amazing facts about Attila the Hun. Please let us know in the comments section what you found most intriguing about this legendary conqueror. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching. See you next time.